Alrighty then, I'm putting together a few videos on building the base skills. I say base skills. The thing I'm assuming is that you have taken a basic motorcycle safety course. You learn serious skills within those courses. These are going to help you go beyond that and maybe practice those skills a bit more. Also assume that you have the proper motorcycle safety gear. So you've got a helmet, you've got boots, you've got gloves. You've got a jacket that's got elbow protection and maybe shoulder protection as well. When you're practicing these base skills, it's more than likely you could drop the bike. You're practicing those skills that are going to help you from having an accident later. If you can, hit that subscribe button. You'll get notifications. You can also hit the little bell one to get notifications, or just subscribe, and that helps me get more views out there. First thing you're going to need is a parking lot. Parking lot without those barriers, so more like this. So you'll notice that it doesn't have the little cement barrier so you can ride through them. First thing we're going to concentrate on is friction zone. You may have heard that in your safety course. Clutch modulation or slipping the clutch. Those are all sort of the same idea around what they're called. Then we're going to go into cornering, U-turns, bike control. It's going to give you more confidence and tighter turns. Let's go ahead and get started. Probably good to point out that that parking lot should have no traffic in it. So we found one that there's really nobody around. There's very few businesses in it. Maybe it's a Sunday, maybe it's a Saturday, maybe it's during the week and it's in a church parking lot. But it's important not to have a lot of traffic running through that parking lot so you can work in an open area without traffic.
I'm nervous about that.
You heard that first. She's nervous about it. And you should be, because this is not an easy exercise, right? It's going to be difficult. And you want it to be difficult here in this parking lot where there's not a bunch of people, versus very difficult, like, say, on the streets of San Francisco where there's a bunch of traffic. So what we're going to have you do today is sort of the basics of motorcycling. They have you do this in adventure courses. They have you do this in all sorts of courses. But this is really number one, and it's learning how to use that clutch so that you can ease the clutch out, riding in the friction zone. They call it that. It's smooth clutch usage. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to take the motorcycles and walk them around this loop, which is our second exercise, and it's going in and out of these parking spaces. We only need to do a couple to learn how to use the clutch properly, because you're going to use that in the second episode or second exercise. So first of all, we'll turn the bike on, and we want to make sure it's in neutral, and then we want to make sure we put the kickstand up. Okay, now we got the kickstand up, we got it in neutral, we put on the front brake and pop it into gear. Now the only thing you need to do here is start letting the clutch out until it starts pulling the motorcycle a little bit. See, I just barely have the clutch out, just a tiny bit. It's moving.
Probably a good idea to point out the fact that we are standing next to the bike this whole time. We're not straddling the bike, we're not on the bike. We're going to walk alongside the bike this entire time. You may find it's easier to turn the bike towards you than away from you. I've seen a lot of people drop the bike as soon as they turn it away from them because it starts to fall that direction. When it's going towards you, and in my case here, a left-hand turn, the bike can actually lean against me. All right, back to the video, but you're walking the bike.
Moving the motorcycle nice and slow. I'm covering the front brake, and I'm just going to turn the motorcycle around the parking lot. I can lean it against me a little bit as I turn. What you're going to find is you can't lean it against you when you're turning the other way. Now if you need to slow down, you just pull that front brake in a little tiny bit, and you pull the clutch in at the same time. Clutch is never being let all the way out. If I let the clutch all the way out, it's going to be overrunning me. I won't be able to keep up with the bike. It'll go way too fast. So the whole time I'm doing this, I'm not giving it any gas, just using a little bit of clutch. And I have the clutch just going out just a little bit, and I go around in circles, right? But you want to be able to do it both ways. Now, that is the clutch just barely engaged, and you can pull it in so it's not engaged, and then engaged. Pull it all the way in, and I'm going to stop the bike. We're going to put it in neutral. And let the clutch out. Put that kickstand down. and turn it off. And now, don't be afraid to really, I mean, if you drop the bike, this is the place to drop the bike. Of course, you don't want to drop the bike, especially if you're borrowing it, but, you know, it is what it is. So the first thing you want to do is start the bike. So turn on the key. We're going to make sure it's in neutral. Neutral light's on. We start it. Now we're going to put up the kickstand. She's already got the clutch in, all ready for that. Then she's going to grab that front brake and she's going to put it in gear. And then she's just going to walk along next to it and just laying that clutch out really slowly. Here we go. Just walking along with it, and that's it. And what you notice is that the circles you can make will be wider than you can do it if you're riding it, because you can lean the motorcycle more, especially when you're going the opposite direction. So yeah, she got that. She stopped it. Perfect. Still using the brake, making the turn. The whole time she's got just using that clutch, because that bike would outrun her if she let the clutch all the way out. This is where you want to learn that that's going to happen. Now, going the other way is the hardest way. See, most people trying to do this, they end up dropping the bike. She's doing just fine. I will also point out she's got boots on, she's got her helmet on, she's got her gloves on, she has protective gear. She's not even riding the motorcycle, she's got all the protective gear on. That's super important. I see too many people out there with their tennis shoes on. And if you're going to get hurt, it's going to be doing these exercises, because this is the first time you're doing this kind of stuff. So get all the gear on. If you don't have motorcycle specific boots, that's okay. Wear hiking boots, but don't wear your tennis shoes. All right, she's got that. And now she just needs to bring it back over. Good, she's got that front brake going really well. Excellent control. That is exercise 1, pretty simple. And she made it look really easy. She says no, but she did. She made that look pretty easy. All right, we're gonna move on to step 2. All right, so we're gonna move on to number 2, but it's worth mentioning, was that easier for you to the left or to the right?
The right.
To the right, so going away from you was easier, which is unusual because most people think it's easier going to the left because they can lean the bike into them. But
I wasn't leaning it on me, so that was harder.
so it was harder going that way. All right, we're gonna go on to step 2. Let me grab this bike. Step 2, we're gonna be on the motorcycle. So we get on, I'm gonna put that kickstand up, turn the key on. Again, make sure it's in neutral. There's my neutral light. Start the bike. We're gonna go to the front of the line here. Now the same thing on this exercise. When I'm riding, I can't let the clutch all the way out. I'll end up going too fast and I won't make the turns.
It's important to mention here that we are going at a slow speed. We're controlling the clutch, and you can put your foot down if you need to. In later videos, when we improve on this exercise, your speed will be greater. You'll lean the bike a heck of a lot more. But in this one, slow and controlled.
And you don't have to be worried about making the individual ones. You can actually go out to one, into, you could skip one if you need to. But here's how it looks. So I could start all the way over here. This would be my starting point, and I need to make a U-turn. So I get going, put my feet up, and we go around. I'm going to go skip 1, and I'm going to skip 2 because there's a planter. Then I skip 2, and I go into this one. I have to go around the tree. And then we want to go around into one here. And then, of course, I want to go around, and I want to go into this one. I forgot I wasn't going to skip one on that one. And that's the idea behind this exercise. You could go out farther. If I start from this one where the planter is, I'm just going to have to go a little bit outside here, and then I want to turn it in, and that doesn't skip one. See, I have to lean the bike more to do that. I can actually lean over. If I lean the opposite way of the bike, put my butt on the outside of the seat and let the bike lean in, it actually makes it easier. And then we're going to end up on this right here. And that's the exercise. And let me turn this off. So you saw I did that. One of the things you'll find that helps you is if, when you're making the turn this way, if you put your butt cheek over the corner of that seat, and you let the bike lean in, it'll turn sharper. That sort of gets into the next exercise, which is sort of exercise number 3. Yeah, try that again so you can see what that looks like. See how she does that? It would be just like that. Now what I want to say is that, so if you're making a turn to the left, don't worry about putting your right foot down. That's okay. Just keep your left foot down. You can keep your right foot on the foot peg, and you want to be able to cover that back brake if you need it. And then going the other way, if you want to put your right foot down, it's okay. It's better than dropping the bike. It's not a competition or anything. You can dab your foot. Once you get comfortable with it, you'll never have to put your foot down. But this is the first try, so let's give it a shot. So again, if she does this, it's the importance of modulating that clutch. It should be riding in the friction zone pretty much the entire time. See how the bike's straight up and down? Hard to make a turn sharp with the bike straight up and down. That's what I did the first time, so I could kind of go from one and then skip one. She can sit, she put the foot down, that's totally fine. See how it's hard to lean that because you're going really slow like that? With the clutch all the way in, the bike just wants to stand straight up. You have to have the clutch out a little bit. This is the first time she's ever done this. She has an easier time turning to the right. And then she'll try coming back. There you go. It's okay to put the foot down. Don't worry about that. It's not a competition. When you get into a competition, up now both feet. Watch how the bike stands straight up when you put both feet down. You know, only put one foot down if you're going to do it. So duck footing it. So one thing you'll notice when you put both feet down, then the bike stands straight up. As soon as you put both feet down. So I'll demonstrate again, and not worrying about the spaces as much. Or actually you can do it. When you go, I want you to make right hand and left hand turns through the same area, but don't worry about the spaces as much, but put your butt cheek off the side of the bike a little bit, and that'll make the bike lean. So that way you're leaning the bike around the corner, and then you have to have the clutch out a little bit, so the bike's got to be pulling when you do it. So if you pull the clutch all the way in, the bike's going to want to fall, and then you'll find yourself go, oh, hey. All right, give it a try again. You see, lots of people do this and they want to show just how good they are at it, like laying the bike way over. But most people have never done this before, so let's not get super worried about how...
I'm not comfortable doing that.
Okay, so
So if you're not comfortable with something, don't worry about it. Just practice the basic skills, get a little bit better, and you'll want to go out and practice a little bit more and a little bit more. I've captured a little bit of footage here where she went out and just kind of wanted to try it herself a little bit, and we'll take a look at some of that footage here really quick. You can see she's making some pretty good turns here. She's putting her foot down, which is fine. You will notice, let's see if we hear it. So she's using the friction zone, but she's really using the throttle a bit more than she needs to, and she can just use, you'll have to get used to using that friction zone a bit more, so you don't let the clutch all the way in and you don't let it all the way out. So you're always just using the clutch a little bit. So she's getting some practice in, and the practice really helps, especially if nobody's watching, which of course I am watching. When I had the helmet off and just set the camera there, it's a little easier, there's less pressure. This is one of those skills that you could do once a month and spend an hour once a month doing, even if you're an expert. If you find yourself getting really comfortable with this, you can set up some challenges for yourself. One of them is you can time yourself, set up 10 of these parking spaces and weave your way through it and time yourself, and then do it again and see if you can keep beating that time. Better yet, get a few friends together and do it with them and see who can go through it the fastest. What you'll end up doing is finding that you still have to use the friction zone, you still have to stay in control, but you need to lean the bike a lot more. The faster you go, the more you lean the bike, the more controlled you get. It's a lot of fun.
So even though this is one of those beginner skills and it's like number 2 on the lesson, experts, novices, everybody benefits from this skill and the practice of this. Every time you need to make a U-turn, now you can make a U-turn in that little spot just like that, rather than having to go way out in the road, expose yourself to some traffic. This way you're just making that. You can find to put your foot down. It's no problem. She's doing every one of the little parking spots, which is really good.
Just after this quick exercise, we left here and did some riding around, a bunch of U-turns where she was totally comfortable doing the U-turns, came up and said, hey, I actually feel comfortable doing these U-turns now. Let's go do a few more. So we went up and through some intersections where we had to pull some U-turns, and she's doing really good at them. Rather than going all the way to the outside or going using 2 lanes, you can just turn around in 1 lane. So it's an excellent exercise to do. It'll get you your skills up, and you'll definitely benefit from this. So if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. I'll put out a couple of more. We do some more advanced stuff. If not, give it a thumbs down. And if you could, give it a subscribe to my channel there. That'll help me out. And of course doesn't cost you anything, but that subscribe button certainly helps me out with YouTube and getting these videos out. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.